There are good habits. There are psychology tricks. There are all kinds of natural ways you can manipulate who your children hangs out with and doesn't hang out with, et cetera, et cetera. All of that's good. All of that's good. It needs to be addressed. But even prior to that, as men, we need to recognize that we have an enemy, the devil, who prowls about like a lion seeking someone to devour, and he loves to prey upon children. And their first line of defense is the father, the father. And so if we don't have a culture that lauds genuine Christian masculinity as the sort of bodyguard of the family, as the first line of defense, then what's going to happen is, well, your wife's going to be targeted. Your children are going to be targeted. Why? Well, it's like Jesus says in Luke's gospel. He says that you can't break into a house and pilfer it. You can't rob a house unless you first bind the strong man, and then you can go in and do what you want, right? Christian fathers right now, in large part, are those strong men. And right now, in large part, they're bound. They're derelict in duty. They're not standing up and fighting the spiritual warfare that they need to. And the lives and souls of their wife and children are suffering. They're suffering. So the first thing is men need to step up and need to be spiritual warriors. You are, as a father and as a husband, you are the bishop, the king, the priest of your household. And look, all throughout the Old Testament, all throughout the New Testament, all throughout church history, 100% of the time, it's trickle down holiness with very few exceptions. So if the king is good, the people prosper and things go well. If the king is wicked, the enemies start to creep in, cross the borders, and take over the land. Church history, Bible, New Testament, Old Testament, all of it, the same story. It's this trickle down holiness. So if you want to protect your wife and children, the first thing that you have to do is learn to take very good care of your own soul. It's going to have a few natural effects. One is that, which I already laid out, the idea that the husband's the bodyguard. And so if a bad guy wants to get in the house, you got to go through the bodyguard. And if the bodyguard is spiritually alive, taking his prayer life seriously, there's a natural layer of protection that's afforded simply by that being done. Secondarily, however, it's important to keep in mind that, let's see, where was I going with this? Whenever you're dealing with this trickle down holiness, the prayer of a righteous man avails much, right? So there's this idea that the holier that you become, the more efficacious your prayers become. The more that you resemble Christ, the more that your words take on the power of Christ. This is what it means. The more righteous you are, the more that your prayer is heeded by God. The more obedient you are to God, the more obedient God is to you. So husbands and fathers need to be very, very diligent about being holy so that their prayers are effective in protecting their wives and children. So that's the first side of things, is the spiritual side of things. You could do a whole lecture on binding prayers, a whole lecture on whatever element of spiritual warfare that you want. But then on the other side of that, parents have a grave obligation to monitor not only the internet consumption that their kids have on their cell phone, laptop, whatever, but they also have a grave obligation to monitor who their kids are hanging out with, where their kids are going to school. Within the bounds of prudence, they have a grave obligation to make sure that they're not putting their children in any near occasions of sin, insofar as it's prudently possible, right? So there's a few things. Is one, the spiritual side of things. Two is bubbles for kids are great. The bubble's wonderful, right? It's not meant to last forever in a certain sense. Eventually, you're going to be exposed to real evil, but the bubble is very good. It's something that should be protected, something that should be used for kids as much as is possible prudently.